you guys are doing well, safe and sound away from all this craziness that's in the world right now. And you can see I have the marker board up here again. And I like the marker board because, it gives a visual that people can follow other than me just talking. Sometimes people learn from visual, not just verbal, which I'm like that. I learn, both ways, obviously. When you combine them both together, that way I will learn a lot better. And I think a lot of people do too. So I use the marker board when I think things are important that people need to understand and they could get just talked around in circles. So we put the visual up. Now, what we're about to talk about today, excuse me, is something that I feel like I researched for the last couple of weeks. And I feel like if I don't put this information up, I'm actually doing a disservice. Because if it's something that I know, and, don't take my word for it, you guys look into this stuff for yourself. I think it's important for all of us to keep perspective. Perspective is important, right? Having a context, having perspective, I think all of that stuff is important with any situation. And this one is no different. So, of course, right now, today is the 4th. So in a week, it'll be a year since we went on lockdown here in Virginia. And of course, the coronavirus came and swept through the world and has scared the shit out of everybody. Now, my thing is this. The one thing that's kept us all kind of stuck, we've all been kind of in neutral stuck, was the fear of the virus, whether or not we believe it's deadly or it's not, or we believe it's real or it's not, or we've had a friend or family or a loved one die of it or haven't, or we've had it ourselves, like I've had it, my mother's had it, my uncle has had it, tons of people around me have had it. But that fear keeps us stuck. It keeps us stationary or stable. It keeps us not moving forward. And I think in order to move forward as a society and as a whole world, right, planet Earth, we need to get over the fear of this thing. We need to learn to live with it. It's going to be here. It's not going anywhere. Now that it's here, it's never going to be extinguished. Coronavirus is here, or COVID-19, SARS-CoV-2, whatever you want to call it, is here for good. That's just all there is to it. It'll never be extinguished, right? Once it's out there in the world, it's alive. It can breed it, I mean, one day it may be extinct, but for now, we need to live with it. So we need to look at this fear and how we can take our lives back by understanding this fear, right? And usually fear comes from the unknown, right? Fear comes from the unknown. Well, what I'm about to give you guys today is some knowledge, some stats, and these are taken from 2018, okay? So I did not find, 2018. So I did not find 2019 or 2020, and I was curious as to why we had to go all the way back to 2018 to get these statistics. And he said that basically 2019 would be published like in 2020 sometime, and things are so chaotic in 2020 that it's just not important for them to get these exact stats down. And 2020 is a complete shit show. 2020, we saw like the flus drop. We saw, pretty much everything mortality-wise drop except for COVID. That's what we saw. And now, the CDC, the WHO, they're going back now and saying, look, there may have been some mistakes because people that died with COVID or died from COVID are two different things. Like if you have a heart attack and you died and they tested and you tested positive for COVID, you didn't die from COVID. Now you may have been somebody who was non-symptomatic and your body didn't succumb to it, although you get marked in that category because you tested positive for it. But if you died of coronavirus, which means that you had it, you have active symptoms, and it wreaked hell on your body, and you went into cytokine storm, and you died, that's dying from it. So dying with it and dying from it are two different things, and they realize that now. So they're starting to roll back and starting trying to figure it out, and it is a total shit show. So 2018 is what we're left with to go with our data or stats, okay? Now bear with me, this is going to get pretty crazy, right? The number one killer, heart disease. You have a 42%, and this is on average, health markers, etc., genetics play a big role in this, but you have a 42% chance of dying in your lifetime from heart disease. It's the number one killer in America. 42%. That is a big number. You almost have a 50-50 shot of whether or not you're going to die from heart disease. Think about that shit for a second. That's a really big number. I wrote these down to make sure I got them right. Diabetes. Right? Diabetes. You have, whether it's adult onset, which means you get it later on in life or you're born with it, you have a 21.4% chance of dying from diabetes. Meaning, even if you don't have it now, like I'm 45 and I don't have it, let's say I go ape shit and I eat a whole bunch of sugar, I stop working out and I get type 2 diabetes. I'm in that range of 24. I mean, right now, I mean, obviously there's a lot lower percentage because I eat right. I don't eat a lot of sugars and stuff like that. My insulin sensitivity is good, but my genetics, everybody's pretty much diabetic in my family, whether it's insulin dependent or adult onset diabetes. So my chances are probably even more than 21% if I fuck up my diet and live on a healthy lifestyle. That will go up. So probably for me, the lowest would be 21.4%, right? So check this one out. We have this one is accidental deaths. Accidental death. Oh, sorry, accidental poisoning, death by poisoning. Meaning you digested something and didn't know what it was and died. So if you're ingesting something that's toxic, which obviously is an issue, right? 67% chance of dying from something that you ingest that's toxic. That think about that for a second. And that doesn't mean that you try to ingest. I mean something you ingested, like there was a chemical or a bacteria or something on, or even like a food poisoning. You have a 67% chance of dying from ingesting something accidentally. Well, they say poisoning, and food poisoning technically is, but and this one's an interesting one too. Here, look, check this out. In 2018, self-harm, right? You have a 14.2% chance of dying from self-harm, suicide attempts, etc., stuff like that. And I mean, we could go on and on and on. This is just a few of them that I want to put up there and I want you guys to look at these numbers because 14.2, 67%, 21.4, and 42%. Now, my question is this. Each one of these, at these numbers, are you scared of them? Are you scared of dying of heart disease? Are you scared of dying of diabetes? Are you scared of dying of an accidental poisoning? Right? Something you may not even be thinking of, but here's a percentage. Are you scared of dying of self-harm? Excuse me. Like, are you scared of any of these things? Now, most of us would say, well, yeah, I'm scared of all these, but you're not really scared of them until they happen, right? You're not even thinking about heart disease or that scared about it. It may cross your mind here and there, but you're not, debilitating your life, staying inside your house, doing cardio all day, taking CoQ10, trying to be, super health guy, right? Diabetes. A lot of you out there, let's be real, you're on glucophage, glipizide, metformin, adult onset diabetes, which could lead to, of course, insulin dependency. And many of you don't think twice about that. You just pop your pills in the morning, you still eat shit, you still drink your Coca-Cola. It's not like you're sitting there going, look, I'm going to go on a no-carb diet, which can reverse type 2 diabetes. I've done it. Many people in my family have done it. It happened. I mean, I haven't done it myself, but I've given people diets that actually did that. It reversed type 2 diabetes. That's what the doctor tells you to do, cut out sugars and most carbs. Accidental death through poisoning. Do you think at all about stuff that may be on the counter, stuff that might get into your foods? I mean, people get poisoned from foods that they buy at the store every day because a little bit too much got in the food. I mean, it's actually a statistic. It doesn't mean that they accidentally poisoned themselves playing with poison and accidentally drank it. It means the food that they were eating or drinks they were consuming were contaminated. So that's a real thing that actually comes from the places that they're made. 67% chance of dying of that. Now, of course, that includes like not necessarily the poisoning itself, but dehydration, right? Nonstop vomiting, nonstop diarrhea. The point you get to the point where your body's depleted in minerals, your heart can seize, like muscle cramps, all this stuff from this, right? Self-harm. There are people that cut. I would say taking drugs is self-harm too, because you are harming your body by taking them and you know it, right? But 14.2%, right? 14.2. Here's the kicker. The one we're all scared of. I want you to look at this number. I want you to really pay attention to this number. Not 1%. Less than 1%. Less than 1% chance if you get COVID. That's if you get it. That doesn't mean you going out in the world. There's less than this of you dying by going out into the world if you don't get it. But if you get it, there is a 1% chance that you will die of coronavirus. Less than 1%. And this is controlling your life. This is controlling everything about you. It's controlling your business, your family, your events, your holidays, your sporting, everything. It's controlling everything. It literally controls your entire life for less than 1% chance of dying. How? When I saw these stats, I was absolutely shocked because I thought for certain these numbers would be in the single digits or something. I really did. And I should know better because last time I checked these things, obviously, heart disease actually has kind of gone down a little bit. I think it was closer to 50% like a few years before 2018. But less than 1% chance, and we've destroyed the economy. We've shut down the entire world. We're destroying kids. Whether you know it or not, this is a big thing. Parents and teachers starting to fight back to get the kids back in school. We have destroyed society. We have destroyed social interaction. The one thing that humans are, which is social. It's in our DNA. It's ingrained in us. We have destroyed it all. And we have been living in fear. Fear. We have been living in fear, which causes stress. What does stress do to your body? Stress will fuck you up worse than the coronavirus will. Stress itself can cause a host of complications that not only can wind you up in the hospital or sick or ill, but it can kill you. So literally, by thinking about this nonstop, which I blame the media. I blame the media for the way it's presented. This causes this, which causes this, which is worse than this to begin with. So we are literally, as a society, creating enough stress that makes us ill, keeps us from living, keeps us from going out in the real world, all because of a less than 1%. Now, I can speak it from experience. I had it. My 70-year-old mom, stage 4 cancer, okay? Terminal cancer. A common cold could kill her right now. And that would be on a normal day. Smokes 2 packs a day and has had 2 heart attacks, okay? And has adult onset diabetes, type 2 diabetes. My mom has every reason to be dead right now. I'm glad she's not. I'm glad she's still here. She beat coronavirus like that. No symptoms whatsoever. Not a single symptom. Well, she did feel a little tired while she had it. Even the cancer doctors that she had to go to see were like, I don't know how I don't know how to explain it. The doctors don't even truly know what's going on with this yet. The scientists don't even truly know what's going on with this yet. But the media tells us that this thing is more dangerous than all of this because we have never shut down our country or taken our lives away for any of this stuff. And heart disease, that's the easiest one to fix. Stop eating like an asshole. Stop sitting around like a fucking slug on your couch. Heart disease, it would help that tremendously. This would drop like crazy. So you're trying to tell me something as easy as fixing that, saying, hey, listen, guys, we're fat as fuck in America. We're really unhealthy, and we need to change this. So we're going to implement some things a little bit different. We want to put out some information. We want to teach you guys some stuff, and we want to find some alternative ways of eating so you don't wind up dead. 50-50 chance of dying from heart disease. How about this one? Diabetes. How many people do you know onset diabetes? Sorry, we ran out of room in here. This happens all the time lately. I got to take care of this phone. But regardless, we're talking about diabetes. There are more ways and more information to reverse this so that this number is not as high and you could die from diabetes. And all they have to do is put the information out and come on TV like they did with the coronavirus. They had people on TV every day, coronavirus. Why aren't there people every day on the news, on CNN, on Fox, on local news, coming out, talking about, look, the number one killer in America, heart disease, right? Here's what we have to do to change this, right? And then don't just do one show. Every fucking day, come on and say, hey, heart disease, heart disease, heart disease, and come up with new ways, new options, new programs, new funding, whatever it is that you can do to teach people how to not have these 2 issues, which are the biggest ones that we have, right? Accidental death by poisoning. I mean, really, there's nothing you do. Things get packaged. They have things that are poisoning them already and stuff like that. Shit happens, right? So really, other than having better ways, which these companies would have to dump a bunch of money to make sure that nothing's contaminating the food. That one's kind of a lot. That's a long stretch. That's a long-term goal, and that would take a lot of time. Self-harm, again, all we got to do is get on the TV and say, look, self-harm is this, this statistics. It's an issue. This is what we're going to do. We're going to put, these hotlines in place. People know the hotlines are out there, but you only see them once in a while. What if every night on the news, you covered heart disease, diabetes, and self-harm the way you did with coronavirus? Could you imagine the dent in these numbers that would happen? People would see that stuff, realize that there's hope, and they don't have to die from heart disease, diabetes, or self-harm. And they could actually start taking steps towards dropping these numbers and people would live longer, right? If we attack these things the way we attack the coronavirus, mortality rates would go down all the way through the entire country. But instead, we focus on coronavirus with less than 1% chance of dying. We let all this shit go. Matter of fact, what we do is we say, hey guys, you know what we're going to do? We're going to shut down all the healthy restaurants and stuff that are out there, the places that don't use a lot of chemicals and calorie laden, and we're going to leave fast food open, right? We're going to leave fast food places open, okay? And Uber Eats is going to bring you your fast food. And we're going to leave liquor stores open, right? Fast food and liquor stores. We're going to leave those open while you can't go to the gym and work out. So you're at, how many people gain 30, 40, 50 pounds? At least, I mean, there's plenty that I know, right? We're going to leave this shit open during coronavirus because we want to protect you from coronavirus. So we're going to leave this shit open, which leads to heart disease, which leads to diabetes, which when you get fat, fucked up, and depressed, leads to self-harm. So the other things that we're doing, and I guess you accidental, that's not poisoning, but accidentally you could fucking kill yourself by eating too much. By the time you eat this shit, you give yourself a heart attack, maybe you didn't mean to do it. So even accidental deaths, these things all go to increasing these even more than what those stats are in 2018. I guarantee if we pull these from 2020 and 2021, these would have gone up specifically because the coronavirus locked everything down and only unhealthy options were left open. No gyms, tons of shitty food, etc., etc. So here we are. We're focused so much on this one little thing right here. All of this doesn't matter. Newsflash, this is what we need to work on. And this is what we no longer need to fear. That is what we no longer need to fear. The flu, there is a, the flu is on here actually. The flu was a 27, let's put it down here. The flu, 27%, get my numbers right over here, 27% chance you'll die of the flu, of a regular flu. 27 to 1. And we're locking down the entire world and we're scared of this. 27%. That's over 26 times more than what coronavirus is. Yet, this is all we talk about. This is all we're scared about. This is all that matters in the entire world. Think about that. I pose the suggestion, in my personal opinion, that this is a PR media issue. This is a news, mainstream media, PR issue. The reason why this is so feared and these are not is because this had the push behind it. This had the sales tactics behind it. This had what people wanted to be feared behind it. Granted, it could just have been because there was a case of the unknown, right? The unknown. We didn't know what the fuck was going on last March. When we closed down, we didn't know. Well, it's a year later and now we know. We know that that's 1%. We didn't know it was less than 1% last year, but we know now. So my question is, why is everybody still so scared of it when we know now? Because this information isn't being told to you guys. This information is not on the news. If the news came on tomorrow, CNN, Fox, local news, and they said, look, it's time to get back to work, it's time to get back to school, here's the deal. Here's all the stats, we've been living like this, everything's gonna be fine. This thing, not what we thought it was, and we need to get back to normal, we need our lives back. That is the only way you would ever actually get back to normal. And even then, some people would be so scared of it still because, look, you had a year of nonstop having to push down your throat about how bad it is and it's going to kill you. One newscast is not going to change that. It's going to take a year of newscasts to get everybody back on the page. So that looking at, if we're in 2021 March now, we're looking at 2022 March before things actually get back to normal, from everybody actually understanding and not being scared. And even then, some people will be lost forever. Some people will be scared forever. There's nothing, no matter what scientists say, what Fauci says, some people will be scared for the rest of their lives and have issues ever going out in public normal again. Yet, all of this stuff, they'll eat like shit, they'll have heart disease in their family, they'll have much more of a chance here, they'll fucking fuck themselves up with sugars and shit and have to be taking fucking medications. They don't even know what they're putting in their bodies half the time. Food-wise, they don't even know what the fuck they're actually putting in their body or what's actually in it. And they could be having side effects from some kind of weird shit that's in the food, like hair loss and shit, and they go to the fucking doctor and they're like, they don't give them a toxicology report or scan or blood work. Well, they use, stress. Okay, so they treat them for fucking stress. Like, they give them some Xanax and put them on their way. When realistically, it's some of the food they're eating. Self-harming, that one's a little bit, to me, I feel like that one's a choice. But bottom line is, these things, 1,000,000 times more dangerous than this. So why are we so hung up on this? That's the question. I asked that question. I pose you to ask that question. Do the research yourself. Because the only way this stuff's going to sink in is if you don't listen to me talking about it. If I put the seed in your head, that seed starts to grow and you go out there and find out for yourself what's really going on. and it gives you the big picture. When you get the big picture, I'm sorry. I know some people disagree, but there's no reason to be scared of this if you're not scared of this. Now, if you're scared of all this shit and you're scared of that, hey, I'm good with you. Cool. All right, fine. I completely understand. But if you're scared of this and not scared of all this, you got had. BiosTrading@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fightbusting.com is a blog. It's the Think About It Bicep and do your research. And we are